This video serves as an announcement to tell you that the Sebworks podcast has been promoted and has moved from the Sebworks main channel in the playlist, the Sebworks playlist where it was, and has been moved from that playlist into its own channel now, the Sebworks podcast channel. And on that channel is where I'll be uploading all the content for 2024 from the 6th episode, 7th episode onwards. That is where it will be released. But if you still want to enjoy the classics from 2023, all that content from episode 1 up till episode 5, all the content that was there, all the pieces of information that were good and that you could enjoy, from Creators Guide to FIFA Pro, where we talked about our sports and personality, a lot of things in the first one. In the first one, we talked about how it felt being a creator, starting Power Project, where Power Project came from. Where if you'd like to also check out Power Project, the link, that little thing, take you to the Power Project, where we're also filming some things there. But in the first episode, we're talking about Power Project. I was talking with Trevor, how the idea came about, what it's like how it's like being a creator, the transition between where the idea came from, and also how it's like being a creator, and balancing between schoolwork and being a creator, as since Trevor is our video editor. So just how he balances the schoolwork and the video editing. That's in the first episode. The second episode is FIFA. We're talking about FIFA, we're talking about sports, our sports backgrounds, our personalities in general, and a few things from then. The third one, Karate Kid's electrical engineering journey, how Kariso as a student, how he was in the varsity experience, moving from what he would call a rural area into a more suburban area, and how the buildings are much bigger. There's just more life. There's a lot more opportunities, and I was happy to move from there, from a rural place with less opportunities, in his words, to a much more suburban place with more opportunities. And these are his words, which you can check out in the podcast episode 3, where he's also talking about things such as what it was like to get into electrical engineering, having no electrical engineering background experience, and his experience just seeing what things he has to learn from using Uber to transition from what taxis are good, what taxis are bad, transitioning, and how he had to use Uber sometimes, his experience with that, and the subject change. That was in episode 3. In episode 4, I was talking to Captain, the last member of the Power Project. So Power Project members are basically me. We have Trevor, who was filmed in the first episode. We have Mayu, who was filmed in the second episode, and we have Captain, who was filmed in the fourth episode. So Kagiso was a personal friend of mine, which also we did a podcast filming with Kagiso. So if you want to check that out, where we talked about him, there's also a lot of crazy things that were said there in that podcast. So on the Power Project, we also filmed him with him, interviewed him there. So you can go check that out on the Power Project. But for me on Sebworks, that was the third episode. And then on the fourth episode, I Captain, the last member of Power Project. Mayu, Trevor, and me have said some things about him, and then he addressed them in the fourth episode, and also just what he thought about it, and also how artistic range, in a sense, or creator range of what he thought Power Project would be, what he thought about creating, what it would take for him to start the YouTube channel if he's starting, since I have a YouTube channel, Trevor has a YouTube channel. Mayu has been in and out with YouTube channels, so that was also addressed. And we just went into a lot more, well, also his experience in varsity, given that he, like me, had his first year last year, transitioning into that. We have lastly fifth episode of the Sebworks podcast, which was the last episode of 2023, how I ended off 2023. And in that episode, I was talking to a friend of mine from high school, where I did digital electronics, but she did construction. We both went into our own sort of departments in engineering, whereas I went into electrical from digital, and then she went into civil engineering from construction. And she was just in that, explaining how sleep, food, and books are her number one priorities, and how in engineering she's still, weirdly, which should be an achievement if you're engineering, sleeping 8 hours each night. That's why she's sleeping. She's getting those hours in regularly. So that was an achievement. And so those are the sleep, how she loves food, and what she thinks about books, given the contrast between how she was in high school and now in varsity, how she's managing the varsity lifestyle, what things she thought moving from high school into varsity, what things stood out to her, and that whole dynamic of transitioning from the high school life to the varsity life. Unfortunately, though, in that episode, well, I made a slight mistake and forgot to press record. So that was something I learned, that always make sure you press record. Hopefully, even this one I've pressed record as well. But that was one thing I guess I learned, that always make sure to press record before you start your thing, which, well, is obvious, but once you're in it, it's easy to forget with so many things you're watching and adjusting. So that was a mistake on my part, but well, it happened, and then we had to redo, and then we restarted from then on. There will be episodes releasing soon. I haven't been able to release because there was a problem with my YouTube channel, which I had to now create a new one, and then, but now it's fixed, everything's ready, and that's now I can start releasing. So I'm just gonna finish a few editing, finish a few clips, shorts there, there, and then I'll start releasing. Given the reinventing Sebworks video that I just posted, this is just a video for all those who just know about the Sebworks channel, but they don't know about the Sebworks podcast. Besides that, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and share with your friends to let them know that the Sebworks podcast now has its own channel. Also subscribe to this channel, because there will be content released on this channel, more ambitious things that I wouldn't have tried. And other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.